Hello everyone. Good morning. This is good morning or good afternoon to some of you. This is Eric speaking. A very warm welcome to this new session of Machine of the Month. And before starting, I would like to wish you a very happy New Year 2021 for you and your families, especially good health in this very particular and challenging time. We are going to spend some time together today to present you one of Hexagon productivity improvement solution called NCSimul, with this new series of webinars that we started last year, Machine of the Month, and this month with the very well-known DMG Machine Tool Builder. A few words first to start with the ecosystem for smarter manufacturing from Hexagon. Manufacturing today isn't about factories with four walls and linear production lines. The manufacturing ecosystem could be one of our many facilities, including OEMs and suppliers with contributors to play roles in working remotely in developing a product from concept to reality. Hexagon provides solutions for design and engineering, production and metrology, all of which provide data that can help manufacturers improve their processes and improve the productivity within the workshops and, of course, reduce the cost of manufacturing. Each of these functions of your manufacturing ecosystem can, in their own right, be made smarter. And we have solutions to help you to do this. However, the real potential we see here is using data to bring these functions closer together, enabling real-time feedback loops and driving continuous improvement to improve quality, productivity, and efficiency. Ultimately, we want to move manufacturing closer to right the first time. And this is going to be the motto of our presentation and of the webinars of Machine of the Month. The goal is to machine right the first time. So if we take a look at the digital thread that we have within your company, and I would say the traditional way of providing a program to the machine tool, we usually start from the CAD, the CAM, so you are using CAM manufacturing programming environments. That is going to output a CL file on APT file, and that is going to be read by the post-processor. Then this NC code, we are going to use it and send it directly to the machine, prove out, dry run, check if this program is okay, and if not, then go back to the programming system, change what needs to be changed, and then go back to the machine to test the changes. And this is where we can provide the missing brick here between the post-processor and the final CNC machine. The missing brick is going to be NCSimul machine, digital twin. So we are going to talk about a real digital twin because we are going to have a copy of the real machine inside the digital world. And this is where within Hexagon, NCSimul is the brick that will connect the real world to the digital world with G-code, realistic validation, simulation, and also we can talk about optimization of the CNC programs that you are going to run on the machine. And of course, this is also interfaced with the CAD/CAM world to be able to get automatically all the information, all the data that is requested. What kind of user is using NCSimul on a daily basis today? So we have different kinds of users, of course, from SMEs, very small companies using one 5-axis simultaneous machine, a 3+2 axis machine or more complex, and big groups also, of course, with more than 100 CNC machines running every day in different markets: aerospace and defense, heavy industry, medical devices, industrial equipments, automotive, consumer products, where we will see the mold and dies, depending on complexity of those machines. The binding here is that all those customers are using CNC machines and needs to make sure that the programs they send to the machines are okay and right the first time. And this is why we decided with Morgan, who is going to be our technical host today and presenting you every month, one standard machine that you are going to be able to bring at home or in the programming department, of course, today, to be able to check, validate your programs and make sure that for your new CNC machines that those programs are right for production or valid for production. And what we are going to have this month is a new DMG DMU50 machine, CMX50U, and the DMU50 third generation. So this Morgan is going to explain to us. And regarding the NC Simul integration, for the feedback that we get directly from the customers you just saw, the goal is to eliminate long shop floor prove-outs. They are not to go run the machine and to keep it only for production, not to have to dry run, not to have to prove out the parts and all the issues that this can bring during the prove out campaign or test campaign. And reduce the new machine setup time. Of course, when we want to send a new program to a new machine or a new program to an existing machine, we need to put the clamping system, we need to put the mounting on the table, the rough stock, the cutting tools, everything needs to be ready before providing the first article. Here, what we are going to be able to do is to do it offline, which will, of course, gain a lot of time and gain confidence for lights out machining, to have the machines running unattended and as long as possible. Of course, we are going to help on avoiding costly crashes and downtimes. And finally, ensure that each and one of the programs that you are sending to the workshops are okay without any issues, to push the green button as fast as possible. Now, to talk about a little bit about DMG, I'm going to invite Morgan to explain to us technically what we are going to talk about regarding those I would say 6 types of machines.
Yes, thank you, Eric. So to have a few words quickly about the DMG DMU50 here. It's, as Eric explained, a well-known machine. It's a 5-axis milling machine with a rotable. So the 2 rotary axes B and C are on the table. The DMU50 is quite small machine, so for small to medium-sized parts, and it's quite cheap. Also, it's a first price on the DMU series. Everything. The CMX machine is also quite close to the DMG, DMU, but the CMX is less known than the DMU series. But yes, those machines are quite similar. And yes, so they are well known, and we see them a lot on the workshops throughout the world because small size and quite cheap, so quite popular on the workshops. And they come in 2 different controllers from DMG Mori, either in Siemens 840D or in Heidenhain, here TNC 600, but for the newest one. And within NC Simul, we can, of course, simulate both of them. So the controller doesn't matter. We will see that later. So that's it for the controller.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Morgan. Yeah. So this is important. Is that either you are using Siemens controller, either you are using Heidelberg controller, the process is going to be exactly the same to provide the verification of your post-processor and your G-codes out of those post-processors, regardless of the controller that you are using today in the workshop. So this is what we are going to bring you today. TMG DMU50, first and third generation CMX50U, and Morgan is going to demo the capabilities of NCSimul on a DMG DMU50. What we are going to see here and the proposal that we have for you today regarding this Machine of the Month offer is the full power of NCSimul. This is not going to be a downgraded version of the software, but for one dedicated machine tool, which is the TMG DMU50. All the features and benefits that our customer gets when they are going to do the 3 steps process that we are going to see in a few minutes with Morgan will be included inside this Machine of the Month offer. It means exactly like what the operator will do on the machine. We are going to be able to provide the NC program analysis, what we call the program decoding, to check if there is any issues within the G-code itself. The simulation module, which is basically the dry run to check that everything is fine regarding the machine environment, the controller information that we get from Siemens or from Heidelberg, machining with non-portion of the tool, cutting portion of the tool, and so on. So really to remove the material like it would be in the workshop. And finally, dimensional analysis, which is basically to check and make sure that the part that we output from this machine is going to be okay and checked on the CMM on the metrology side. We are going to be able to check that this part has been manufactured like it was designed under the same tolerances, no gauge material or surplus material, and so on. So those 3 steps here that we are going to respect during this demo, but in the future also all other demos is going to be provided within this offer. And of course, plus the digital twin that we are going to provide to you inside the software. There is also a little bit of change here because we are going to make demo on our reception part. Basically, that is what we call the GP2R. And this reception part is going to test basically all the main functions of your 5-axis simultaneous machine or 3+2 axis to check that they are all being supported. So we are going to be able to test the basic linear and circular movements functions, tilted planes, 5-axis continuous motions, machining, polar machining, multiple compensation, radius compensation, helical interpolation, and so on. Everything will be within this part so that the machine is robust and can read and check basically all the programs that you will put through. So Morgan, please show us now the software, and we are going to start from there. So it's going to be a technical presentation, and there will be a session of questions and answers at the end. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to write them inside the Q&A panel that you have here. Now we have here the full environment of NCSimul for this DMU50 with a Siemens 840D controller. And basically, I am a programmer to put back into the context of my programming job. I am a programmer. I programmed this new part here inside my CAM software. So let's say I'm coming from HCAM. And I click the button in HCAM, the interface that is going to send automatically all the data that we need for the simulation to happen. And it means the tool library, the clamping system, the rough stock, the final CAD part, of course, the CNC codes, all the information, the data is automatically transferred on the table here in the machine. And basically to start the decoding and simulation job. Morgan,
yes,
your turn.
Yes, thank you, Eric. So as Eric explained, here we are on the NCSimul environment. For the example, we came from HCAM and interface everything directly automatically inside NCSimul. And here it's the state where it comes in. We have our machine here and the 3D model of our DMG DMU50. On the left, we have all the resources of the project. So directly retrieve from the CAM system the setup, which regroup the rough stock, the clamping system, and the finished part, the actual CAD model of our part. Also, the origins. So all the axis systems created in the CAM system will be retrieved with the CAD models. Then the tools, and finally our NC code. NC code that we will also find here displayed on the right. And in this window, I can navigate through my NC code, and as you can see, I have my trajectories and my spindle moving through my part. But you can notice that I don't have any material removal because we explained that the simulation in NCSimul is in 3 steps. This is the first one, the decoding, and here there is no material removal. It's only reading the NC code. As the real machine will do when you load the NC code on it, it first read the whole NC code and detect errors of mostly syntax. So the errors that we will find here will be either unknown codes or forbidden functions, unknown functions, will be out of bounds. So here we have some out of range, for example, on the Z-axis. It can be out of speed of the spindle. It will be some errors on the tools or the axes, all this type of error that the machine can find before the material removal. So this is the step 1 of the simulation. And the goal here will be to fix all those errors to be able to move on and go to the step 2. During this presentation, we will see all the functions that are available in NCSimul, because as Eric explained, through this campaign, you have access to the full NCSimul functions, and we'll try to check on all of them. So we will fix the errors of our NC code because there are some and that is not good. We want to be able to send a right NC code on the machine. So to do that, we just click on an error and NCSimul. In NCSimul, at all the times, all the windows are synchronized. So when I click on one, all the other align with it. So here I click on my error and my NC code and my 3D window show me where the errors happen. And as you can see here on this retract, we are too high. So we have an out of range on the Z-axis that are 50 millimeters too high. So we just move down the retract just a little bit. To do that, we have a tool within NCSimul that is the editing mode. I will enter this mode and I can there modify my NC code freely. So what I can do is change the value of my retract. So instead of going at 500, I will go at 250. When I will leave the editing mode, NCSimul asks me if I want to change my NC code, and I say yes. From now on, as you can see here on the left, my NC code has a tag named modified, which means that I am now working on a temporary file that is different from the initial NC code, it's a new one, with my modification, and it's not the initial data. So here I can make any number of changes I want on my new NC code. We won't rewrite the initial one to keep the data. But NCSimul reload my new NC code with my changes, and I can instantly check and see the changes. So here I retract that were too high. As you can see, my first error is not about the tool, and the retract, the out of range is gone. So we can validate our modification. It didn't trigger another alarm, so we are good. And this way, error after error will change everything and solve all our errors. The second one, tool number 30 does not exist. So here, I call a tool number 30 on my NC code, and actually on my tool library, the tool number is 3. So there is an inconsistency between the NC code and the tool library. We need to make it right. We either change it in the tool library or the NC code. here I will modify it in the NC code, the same way I did for the out of range. I enter the editing mode, change the number of my tool, and reload with my modification. So now I should call the tool number 3, which is actually inside my magazine, so this is fine. My first error was about the tools and now should be gone, and as you can see, it's good. And we can move on to the next one, next error. So those errors are about the rotary axis, but as you can see here, we try to move the rotary axis and NCSimul tells us that they are locked. If we look here before here this comment, which is the end of one operation, at the end of the previous operation, we locked the rotary axis with those codes, M10 and M22, and we didn't unlock them before trying to do the other 5-axis operation. So here, what we need to do, either I remove my clamping codes, or at the beginning of the next operation, I unclamp my rotary axis using the codes for that. So 11 and 23. And I will reload now with my unclamping code. And now everything should be fine. My last error should be gone. So we let NCSimul reload and verify everything, but here we should be okay. As you can see, we don't have any errors anymore. The program seems fine. So this includes the step 1 of the simulation, the decoding. The machine read the entire NC code. It looks okay, and we can move on to the next one. Next step.
Thank you, Morgan. So this is, yes, a very important step, and this is why we separate the step between verification and simulation, is that once the decoding is done, we don't need to go back to it, and then we can start the simulation. Like the operator would do on the machine, I take my part, I put it on the machine, and then I dry run. I check this part. The only difference is that we are going to do it offline, and it's a little bit better to crash the machine on pixels here in the software than on the real machine. So this is where this important part of verification is important, because if you do it directly on the machine, then the machine is idle, is waiting for correction, and you are going to have back and forth travels between the programming and the machining department. Here, it's also very important that we can see on the right, you can directly key in or change the NC code from the window that Morgan just showed us, and check in real time what it does in the real world. So this is also a very important tool and informative tool to understand what is going on the machine when I change this parameter or this parameter. And this goes, as Morgan said, to the step number 2, where we are going to make some chips and remove material.
So now we can move on to the step 2. The step 2 is the simulation or the material removal. So here we have the simulation mode. We can enter it. And the simulation is pretty straightforward. It's here we have a play button, and we'll just press play, and the simulation will go on to the end. I will just add a new 3D window and see the machining goes on the part. I will hide the door of the machine, that way we can see the spindle moving, and we'll have all the movements.
So you can also here customize your environment to understand and to see what you wouldn't see on the real machine. All those 3D models are fixed.
Yes, so we can in NCSimul modify all the 3D windows. You can switch between machine view and table view. You can have multiple 3D windows, that's okay. And for the 3D of the machine, yes, we deliver them according to the customer wishes. So everyone has their own needs. Some people like to see the doors and the steel flanger of the machine. Some people just like to see the minimum. So everything is fully customizable, and yes, we change it all the time.
Perfect.
Now I will just press play, and we will see the simulation. So all the windows will be synchronized when the simulation starts. Here I will hide the 2 trajectories. We have the NC code running, both 3D window. And as I said, it's pretty straightforward. Here we have a speed bar. We can speed up or slow down the simulation. And the simulation will go to the end until there is an error. And that will be displayed here on the bottom. So I will just speed up the simulation, and to show you, after the end of the speed bar here, after this small cross, we are in end result. And here it means that we don't, as you can see, there is no display anymore. We don't check anything on the display, but NCSIMUL will calculate much faster the simulation, and we will just have the report of the errors at the end. So this is what we do. So here we can start seeing some errors already at 50%. You can slow down the simulation to check on it, or speed up again. Or just let the simulation finish one time. You can move the 3D window during the simulation, that's okay. It does not trigger anything. Just wait for it to finish. And after, I will show also the second simulation mode, which is the break option simulation, in which instead of going to the end of the simulation, we will stop on every alarm. And that's easier to solve all the issues. So here we have lots of errors at the end. The more errors you have during the simulation, the longest it is. So that's why at the end it slows down, because we have lots of errors.
So yes, here NCSIMUL is removing all the material and is checking for all those issues during the machining. We can see that the 3D window is not moving. It's to get the result faster as end result, as Morgan just explained.
Yes. Okay. So here we have the final result of the simulation and the report of all the alarms. So here we have over 200 errors. That's way too much. And you can see directly inside the on the rough stock the red areas, in which means that we have a problem. So here probably this machine is not a portion of the two. So I will go back to the first error, and the same way as the step 1, error by error, we will fix our NC code to have a machining without any errors. Just for a reminder, during the simulation, we detect two types of errors: the collision that you see here in purple, and the alarms that we see in blue. The collision are collision between elements of the resources, the project. So either the tools and the table, or the tools and the fixtures, or any element that can collide with each other and trigger a problem. So NCSIMUL will display that. And for the alarms, it will be more machining issues. So it could be stop spindle in the material, it could be G0, rapid motion in material, here machining with non-cutting portion of the tool. All those type of machining issues that will trigger a problem on the machine, but are not collision. So same way as I did for the step 1, I will click on an error and see what happens. So here, if I show my toolpath, as we can see here on this move, we move the rotary axis, and our tool collide with the table here. So that's not good. And here we have the same issue, but instead of the tool, it's the spindle that is actually going on the table. So why does this happen? It's because here on our function here, the setup, the clamping system here is too low on the table. Okay, here if we were a little bit higher, the tool would go over the table, and that wouldn't be a problem. And here, if we were higher on the table, the spindle would have an offset here with the table, and the machine would be good. So here we need to change the clamping system. Here we are too close to the table for the spindle, and that's not good. So we can do that quickly within NCSIMUL. I will just close my simulation first. We have already imported in this project the new setup, the new clamping system we will use. We should create a new one, but here it's already created. That's what I wanted to say. So here I will.
Sorry, Morgan. How many setups can you define here?
So here I have the list of all the setup of my project. I have only one, and the one that is already ready. And we could have any number of setup here. So I could define 100 setups if I wanted, it's the same. So here I input it on my table, the new setup. I will remove the previous one. And as you can see, we have now a much higher setup, much higher clamping system. Only thing we need to do is to update the origins because the axis system was on top of the part here, and now the part is higher. So as I explained earlier, all the axis systems are retrieved with the CAD models of the file. So here, my G54, I just need to update it with the new models. And here, Antisimul will reload with the new origin. And we should have the same machining, but at a higher height. We'll let the step one reload because here, the new setup could trigger, for example, since we are higher, a new out of ranges. And Antisimul just reload the step one to verify that everything is fine. Everything is good. We can go back to the simulation. For this simulation, I will use the break option, as I explained, the simulation that will play until there is an alarm. So the same simulation, I can zoom in, same simulation, we see everything. But I will just go to the end result as before, like before. We'll run everything and wait for the alarm. The simulation will automatically stop on the first alarm and show me what happens. We'll wait for it. The first alarm was the collision between the tool and the table, if you remember. We solved this normally, so we should go over it. And we will wait for the next one to show up on the list. Here, we have the next error. So here we have a machining with a non-cutting portion of the tool, so we can check what happens. So here, the threading and the holder goes inside the material. Okay, so this is why we have machining in red. And to avoid that, actually here the problem is that the tool is too much inside the holder. We need to update the tool length under holder of the tool. To do that, with Antisimul, we have a useful function called tool length optimization. And this function actually calculates the minimum tool length under the holder needed for this machining to not trigger any alarms or collision or anything. Antisimul gives us a table here for each tool. Today, at the moment, the current tool length under holder length that we have for each tool and the minimum needed. If we reduce the value of the tool under holder, we reduce the vibration on the tools and possible to breakage or any issues that could happen with it. So that's a good option for us. For example, here, our tool number 9, we define it at 50 millimeters, and we actually only need 22 millimeters under holder. So we can reduce the forces on the tool by reducing its tool length. Okay, so we could update this tool length, for example. And the tool that triggered our alarm was the tool number 12. And as you can see, we defined it at 10 millimeters, and the minimum needed is 22. So here we have less tool length that needed. So we need to change it up. So to do that, I will modify my tool. So I will modify my tool number 12, okay, to be above 22.5. So I will close this function. This function does not update the tool library automatically. It's just a reminder. You are free to change your tools or not, as the programmer and the operators feel if they need or not. We'll enter the tool library and modify our tool number 12. So this was our tool that is too much inside the holder. And here inside the tuning function, we have length under holder. We need to be above 22.5 millimeters, so I will go at 30, so above, and I will also update my tool compensation. I added 20 millimeters, I add 20 millimeters in it. I will save my tool library, update my project with the new one. Here Antisimul will reload everything one more time to check if there is any error with the new tools. and we will be able to go back to the simulation. One more time, if there is no error, everything is good. Simulation. And we start again with the break option. So here the simulation will run until there is an error. If there is none, it will go to the end. That's really so I will keep the break option, the end result to go faster.
So yeah, sorry, Morgan, yeah, just to finish that step number 2, where the operator would have machined this part directly on the machine. We know that at the end of this step here, the program is right for machining. It's okay to go on the machine and to push the green button because one, there is no decoding error, which is a very important point, and two, there is no errors or issues related to the machine environment or the controller or the cutting tools and so on. So here at the end of the sequence, my part is okay for manufacturing. Now I need to make sure that this part is okay to deliver to my customer. So this is the third step that Morgan is going to explain.
Yes, exactly. So here we have the finished stock that we have machined. So there is no error, no collision, no alarm. So as Eric explained, we are ready to send it on the machine. Now what we want to do before sending it to the machine is to know that if what we have machined is right or wrong. And this is the step 3 of the simulation analysis. We will analyze our machine stock to verify if we are good and if we are close to the CAD models or not. To do that, here we have the CAD model in yellow, and the simul will compare the CAD model, the actual CAD model of the part, and the machine rough stock, and compare them. This is the first function we have to analyze our machining, the comparison. So when I will click on it, here I have a color scale function on all my parts, and I can see in blue to green the surplus material on my parts, and from green to red the overcut. And I just have to select an area that I want to know, for example, the overcut here. I can double click on it, and NCSimul gives me the value here of my overcut. Same with the surplus material, for example, here. Okay, and that way I can define which areas will be right or wrong. Am I inside my tolerances? Is 0.4 within the tolerance I have for my part or not? And that way I can give the status on my part, is it right or wrong? This function is okay for small to medium part, but if you have really large part, you don't want to go over 2 meters of the part by double click on all the surface. So on those cases, we also have 2 other more specific functions for more specific needs, for example, the large parts, which are only comparison for only gauge material or only surplus material. So each one of them will detect only one side of the material, and they are more specific. So the calculation will be longer. There is a new simulation with higher tolerances to have higher results. And NCSimul gives us a table of all the points and all the lines in NC code where we have either gauged or surplus material. And we can click on them. The 3D windows are synchronized, and you can detect where you have your surplus or gauged materials. So those are for more specific needs, but they are present and available here. And we have also another functions that is quite useful to detect any issues on the machining. It's actually outside the simulation. Within NCSimul, we have what we call the cut analysis. So the cut analysis is NCSimul retrieve all the cutting parameters from the machining, since it has all the distance, the tools, everything. We did the simulation, so NCSimul knows everything, and retrieve all the cutting parameters and give them to us. The cut analysis is available with NCSimul directly, free of charge, so we will use it and see how it works. As you can see here, my cut analysis, I will run it on one specific tool. So I can run it on all my tools, but here I know a particular points that we want to detect on this machine. It's on my tool number 4. So let's imagine that we run.
When you put, sorry, tool number 3 in the line, I think.
I will check. So let's imagine that, no, it's sequence number 3, but tool number 4, that's okay.
Yeah, good point.
So let's imagine that we run the program on the machine, and the operators detected that there was too much noise on the machine, or maybe after a few number of parts, the tool life calculated for the tool was above, I don't know, above 10 parts, and you only machine 8 with the tool number 4, and after it breaks. Those type of errors where something is wrong, but you can't actually pinpoint what happens. With the cutting analysis, we will have all the cutting parameters retrieved by NCSimul, so AP, EAD, Q, and so on. Here, NCSimul gives us just the maximum value of it, but we have a tool here called Graph. We can display those cutting parameters in Graph. And for example, one parameter that is quite graphic and can help us quickly to find areas of errors is the chip flow. Here, the chip flow of material. I will show the graph of the chip flow. And as you can see here, the chip flow is constant at maybe 1 centimeter cube by minute. Here, during all the machining, I will zoom on the machining. Every time it's constant here. And every time we enter one of the radius here on the pocket, we have a huge peak, like here of Q of the chip flow, and maybe those peaks trigger lots of vibration, a lot of forces on the tools and on the machine, and this is why we had those issues either of tool breakage or noise on the machine, forces. And through the graph, quickly here we can detect the areas where we have those errors, and maybe we can think of a new strategy to machine this pocket. So maybe on the cam system there is another strategy, that reduce the feed rates on the corner or something like this. We need to rethink maybe how we programmed the NC code here. So this is not a job we will do inside NCSimul, but we can detect it inside NCSimul to change it after to have a better machining on the real machine. So this is the cut analysis and what you can do with it. And so this concludes also the step 3 of the simulation, the analysis to detect what is wrong on the part and where we have something to change. And with this, we have seen all the potential of NCSimul and what we can do with our machine of the month.
Nice, thank you, Morgan. So yes, it's the end of the 3rd step, which basically will give us all the information, all the tools, and all the experience from NCSimul and from the workshop, but also from the programming department to send validated and simulated programs to the workshop. Now I am here in Siemens 840D. Morgan, do you have any? If I do, I have a Heidelberg controller, so this is not the code that I see in my machine. Is the process the same? Is it working the same way?
Yes. So as we explained earlier, the machine comes in 2 different controllers. Here I use the Siemens one. You can see here the Cycle 800. And yes, so the process is the same for the Heidelberg controller, and I will just open the same project with the Heidelberg controller. So this is the same project, same machine, but as you can see here on the right, my NC code is now Heidelberg conversational. You can see the L and the C here. Here we have the plain spatial. We can also read the Heidelberg ISO, but that's another issue. And the same way, I won't do the 1st and 2nd step and everything, but you see we have the same potential and the same simulation going on, the same project. So if your machine, your DMU is either Heidelberg or Siemens, it's the same steps.
Perfect, thank you. And yes, we can see it here on the right that this is now Heidelberg controller. G-code. Okay, thank you, Morgan. Thank you very much for this demonstration on this DMU 50. I would like to take over now to talk a little bit about what kind of pricing we created for you for this special offer, machine of the month. So usually the NC Simul pricing for a 5-axis simultaneous machine like this DMG DMU50 would be to sell one license, to have one license, 1 year maintenance, the CAM interface from Hexagon, and develop the machine digital twin to customize it based on your requirements, and finally install it and train you. And we would be roughly on a budget around 17K euros. For this machine of the month here, we created a very special and limited offer, limited to January and February for this DMG DMU50, where we are going to put in place the subscription. So depending if the machine is 3+2 axis or 5-axis simultaneous, with exactly the same features and benefits that you would get from using the license from NC Simul machine, dedicated to this DMG DMU50. So from 99 euros per month, you have all those functions, all those features. And of course, you can also add some services. For example, you want the starter kit to be able to have someone to help you to install the license, to install the software, to import the machine, and really to be ready to verify some programs, or to have advanced online training. At this moment, it's a little bit difficult to travel, so we have created online training for you to use NC Simul and to be proficient, that you can request to your local Hexagon office or to your partner or reseller of NC Simul. So from 99 euros per month, you can have access to this digital twin. And what do you get when you decide to purchase for this digital twin here? You get the full NC Simul setup. So this is the software, videos on how to install, license, import machine, and install the software. And finally, of course, as we can see here on the right, the digital twin that is related to your needs in Siemens controller, in Heidelberg controller, DMG 50 first or third generation, or CMX 50. So this is what we provide in this offer. To finish, and in a nutshell, to be able to understand the customer feedback, NC Simul is easy to use. The customers are also very interested by this 3-step process, which is following exactly the same process that we have in the workshop to verify all the macros, subprograms, cycles, subroutines from the controller, from the CNC machine directly. Simulate them very fast, all those programs, not to lose time on the simulation, and with a very very clear 3D visualization, where Morgan showed us we can span, we can move, we can turn around. There won't be any lagging inside the visualization of this digital twin, with a very short learning curve. And last but not the least, no more collisions are expected in the workshop after using NC Simul digital twin to bring, I would say, the digital world into the real world. This is going to conclude. Just one thing. You are going to receive a little bit later the link to be able to watch the recording of this webinar. So this is also something that you can watch later if there are any points that triggered some questions to you. And inside also this email, the link to be able to order this machine of the month. You can also request to your local Hexagon office or to your reseller regarding this machine. I don't have this machine, but I have another machine tool. So this is also some questions that you can ask to us. I am interested by ATP DMU ATP and not the DMU 50 because I don't have it. So this is something that we can think also later for another machine of the month, or to propose you the normal way of working with NCSimul for any kinds of CNC machines from your workshop. As long as it is CNC codes, NCSimul will help you. This is ending the presentation. We are going to open the questions and answers just here on the right. So if you have any questions, I would like maybe to answer them live if I can, of course. If I can't, or if you have questions and you would like to ask them, please send directly an email to your local office or to your reseller, and we will be in touch very soon. So let's open the questions if you have anything, and we are going to open it for 1 or 2 minutes. If I don't have anything, so let's wait a little bit. I would like to wish you a very good day, and also the most important, please stay safe. I see I have one question in private here. Okay. So you can ask your questions on the list here. Okay, am I able to?
There is a question on the chat. Do you apply NCSimul to 5-axis woodworking machine?
Okay, so this is a good question. Yes, so woodworking 5-axis, if you are doing trimming, if you are doing 5-axis simultaneous machining, I'm thinking about Thermwood machines, for example, in the US, where we have been working a lot. As long as you have CNC controller, even exotic controllers, I'm thinking about Mitsubishi and so on. This is possible to simulate with NCSimul. Yes, of course, if it's NC code based. So please get in touch with your reseller, and we will be able to get back to you, because it won't be through the machine of the month, but it will be a dedicated project that we can work on for your needs. So to answer your question, yes, it's possible. And to go further, NCSimul is able to simulate any kinds of CNC machines from 2 axes to the most complex machines in the world.
Another question: can you control the force limit of a CNC tool? E.g., can you set a limit on the force?
So for the force, this is a good question. Yes, so Morgan, if you can answer quickly that.
Yes. So we can define. Yes, we can define a limit to detect the forces, and so we can also change them, but that requires another module of NCSimul that we didn't show today because it's not in the basic package.
Indeed. So to complete that, Morgan, yes, when you were talking about the peaks, you see we have a peaks of chip flow, or you have a peak of chip thickness, for example, for harder material. Sometimes you have a peak where the cutter and the material there are some forces here. And NCSimul is able to detect on each line, exactly like we would do with AEAP, FZHQ, the forces on the tool and on the material, and basically to flatten this if there is a risk of tool breakage or risk of fish skin on the surface of the material. So this is possible, but as Morgan said, this is, I would say, the next step here, where we are going to talk about optimization, about forces optimization and so on, which is not part of this dedicated simulation to verify the programs, and we didn't talk yet about optimization. So this was one of the questions that is in direct to me here. I am able to output technical documentation. I am able to optimize the CNC codes. So yes, those are modules, additional modules that we can work with you in the future. First step would be to verify the programs, and next step would be to make sure that those programs are also optimized, so to reduce the cycle time and or improve the tool lifetime. play on the forces to make sure that there is no vibrations or deflection of the tools during the machining. So this is an area also where we can work to detect those issues. And on the technical documentation is, am I able to output the whole technical documentation for the workshop with all the tool lists and everything based on the ANSI code? Yes, it's also possible. So, but those are additional modules that we can work on in the future.
And to answer to the new question also, as Eric is talking about the documentation, so we can also, yes, produce inspection reports within ANSI Simul, and that's included inside the documentation module, in which you can first put your 3D quotation on your part, and then when you export the documentation, you can have your inspection and reports documents outputted.
Perfect. So this is clear. If you have any remaining questions, please contact your local offices. You will receive some information later via email. Thank you again for your time, and I wish you a very good day, and also stay safe, and hopefully we'll be able also to meet in person during some seminars, or exhibitions. Morgan, thank you for your time,
yes,
and talk to you very soon. Have a good day. See you.
Thank you. Bye.